very first thing I did after being reborn as a giant python was to snatch a random female snake off the path. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of serpent reproduction, but 3 seconds later, I was completely freaking out, because I realized this seemingly ordinary little snake I grabbed was actually the reincarnation of the dragon clan's empress, ruler of 100,000 aquatic soldiers. Right now, this little snake was curled up in the corner, licking the wounds my rough actions had left on her body. Her cold serpent eyes were filled with pure venom and hatred. I am the great dragon empress, and I was violated by this mindless beast. Once I recover my power, I will tear out your tendons and flay your skin. I'll chop you into a million pieces, even though the little snake's mouth didn't move. I could clearly hear the roar inside her head. My whole serpent body froze on the spot. I never expected this little snake was also a reincarnator, and not just anyone, but a top-tier powerhouse like the Dragon Empress. Thinking back on what just happened, a chill ran down my spine. This Empress probably wants to skin me alive right now. If she really recovers her power, I'll likely end up a dried-up dead snake in no time. Just as I was thinking whether to finish her off while she's down, a cold mechanical voice suddenly exploded in my mind. Good snakes get good rewards. System binding successful. Core ability unlocked. 100-fold return. Rule provide benefits to the bound target, and receive up to 100-fold reward yourself. Bound target. Long Linger, former Dragon Empress. Current status, critically injured, near death. Hearing this, joy bloomed in my heart. See? The essential cheat code for any transmigrator finally arrived. Better late than never. I whipped my head around to look at Long Linger, still curled in the cave entrance. In that instant, the way I saw her completely changed. Forget about her being a death sentence. She was clearly a priceless treasure. Long Linger happened to meet my gaze. Her body gave an instinctive, violent shudder. Then, my huge body started crawling straight towards the cave entrance. Seeing this, turbulent waves of shock rose in Long Linger's heart. What does this lustful worm want now? In her past life as the Dragon Empress, she knew well the truth that snakes are naturally lustful. If he tries for a second round, she'd rather bite her own tongue and die right now. A look of desperate determination flashed in her eyes. She was clearly ready to fight me to the death. But what she never expected was that I didn't even glance at her. I just slithered right past her, heading deeper into the mountain forest. I heard every single thought running through her head, loud and clear. Snakes are naturally lustful, and that's not wrong. But in my past life, I was a pure-hearted 30-year-old virgin. That was my first time, and hers too. Besides, strictly speaking, that whole thing earlier wasn't even my intention. My consciousness wasn't even fully king-sing yet back then. I swiftly slithered through the woods, frantically trying to jung-ho the memories flooding into my mind. The most urgent thing now was to boost my cultivation level. I needed to take human form as soon as possible, to shed this scaly shell. When I appeared back at the cave entrance, my mouth was already full of prey. Seeing me return, Long Linger instinctively coiled herself into a tight ball. She had tried to escape earlier, but her injuries were too severe. Even moving was a struggle. When she saw the pile of bloody food, Long Linger's throat moved. She swallowed hard. But for the sake of her empress's pride, she still held her head high, refusing to eat food given to charity. I thought about teasing her a bit more, but then I thought better of it. If I actually starved this golden goose to death, I'd be losing out big time. So I just dropped the bear I was carrying right in front of her. My tail accidentally brushed against her body. She flinched hard, her scales standing on end, but she still forced out a cold snort. Long Linger looked at me, shock clear in her eyes. But by now she was starving, her stomach growling. Even as the once unmatched Dragon Empress, she couldn't fight basic biological survival instincts. Ah, forget it. I, the Empress, will reluctantly have a taste. Once I recover my power, then I'll settle the score with this beast. With that, Long Linger dropped her pretense, opened her massive jaws, and tore right through the bear's thick hide. Hearing these thoughts in her head, my face darkened immediately. Eating my food, drinking my, well, and scheming in her head about how to skin me. If it weren't for the system lashing onto her, I would have slithered away long ago, leaving her here to die. Before long, my head started popping off like firecrackers, a string of notification sounds going off. Congratulations, host. Received 100-fold return reward. Heat sensing. Congratulations, host. Received 100-fold return reward. Super scent. Congratulations, host. Received 100-fold return reward. Constriction force. I quickly pulled up the system panel to check. Holy cow, there were already over a dozen practical abilities listed. I couldn't help but marvel. No wonder she's a cultivation big shot. Just her eating one bear brought me benefits this terrifying, without a second thought. I went right back and caught a mud deer, dropping it in front of Long Linger again. She was busy digesting the food in her belly, her body visibly recovering. Seeing me throw another prey her way, she didn't refuse. She just opened her mouth and tore in. The pleasant system notification sounds kept exploding in my mind. I was grinning from ear to ear, couldn't stop. This is the legendary winning by doing nothing. For the next 3 days straight, I was dashing out like I was on steroids every single day. The beasts for miles around were just plain unlucky. None of them could escape my clutches. Most of the prey I caught ended up in Long Linger's stomach. Her scales were getting brighter, her size gradually increasing. In just a few days, she was almost as big as me. From her, I could even vaguely sense the faint pressure of a powerful being beginning to emanate. But the faster Long Linger recovered, the more excited I became, because the one truly getting the great deal was me. Now, I'd already gained nearly 100 abilities. I was countless times stronger than just 3 days ago. I let out a loud laugh, flung the freshly caught prey in front of Long Linger, and couldn't wait to see what benefits I'd reap this time. Detected emotional change in bound target Long Linger. Intimacy +1. Ability synthesis function unlocked. The higher the intimacy, the greater the return rewards. If intimacy reaches 0, the binding relationship will dissolve. Hearing this, I was stunned for a moment. I looked at the system panel again. Not only was there a new intimacy bar, but also an incredibly powerful ability synthesis function. Without a second thought, I directly fused all the basic abilities I gathered these past few days. Synthesis successful. Congratulations. Obtained advanced ability. Dragon's Might. The next second, my over 100-foot-long snake body began rapidly expanding. My scales clunked against each other like metal as they opened and closed. My body was a full circle thicker than before, feeling the explosive power change inside me. I was secretly thrilled. Then turning into a streak of light, I shot towards a small hill not far away. A huge crash echoed through the sky. I had actually smashed a giant hole right through that solid little hill. At the same time, inside the cave, Long Linger, after days of non-stop eating, had finally recovered some of her cultivation base. A cold smirk flashed in her eyes. Damn you, fate. Even if you schemed your hardest, trying to wipe out my dragon clan completely. So what? I, Long Linger, still survived. Just at that moment, another thunderous crash boomed from outside. Long Linger's breath caught. She felt an incredibly powerful force bearing down on her, overwhelming and inescapable, making it hard to breathe. She thought her pursuers had finally found her. Every muscle in her body tensed instantly. She was ready for a fight to the death. But when she looked up, she saw a massive silver-white python coiled on a pile of rubble, its whole body radiating a terrifying aura. Long Linger's eyes nearly popped out of her head. It was him? That earth-shattering noise just now was made by this silver snake? This destructive power is almost at the spirit seed level. I clearly remember this guy was just an ordinary snake. How did he completely transform in just 3 days? Long Linger looked closer, her gaze landing on my forehead, on the small fleshy bump that had just grown there. Ah, so that's it. He actually has a trace of diluted dragon blood. No wonder he's evolving so fast. But that doesn't mean much. Let him have his moment of glory. Once I've rebuilt my cultivation technique, I'll leave him in the dust in no time. Thinking this, a wave of worry hit Long Linger. Rebuilding her technique was no easy feat. She needed to get demonic beast inner cores. With her current cultivation level, that was a real problem. What she didn't know was that I could hear every single one of these little schemes. If I wanted to keep getting stronger and farming the system, I needed to find a way to get her some demonic cores. Feeling my gaze on her, Long Linger felt a chill down her spine. She couldn't help but curse under her breath. Huh, what are you looking at, you dead worm? So you got lucky? And broke through to spirit seed? Big deal. You don't actually think I'm scared of you, do you? If my power weren't still depleted, I'd teach you a lesson in seconds. Let you be smug for a couple of days. Once I fully mastered the Dragon Clan's secret arts, watch me grind you under my heel. transmigrated just to be a pack mule for this Sundari princess? Unbelievable. Complaints aside, I turned and slithered towards the deeper parts of the dense forest. Soon, I was deep in the woods. The spiritual energy here was ridiculously dense. Like every breath could boost your cultivation. I started Feng Kuang absorbing it. Absorbing like crazy, and suddenly a sharp bird cry came from above. I quickly looked up, and saw a massive bird, several meters wide, folding its wings, diving straight at me like a sword. My nerves instantly went on high alert. I thrashed my body wildly, narrowly dodging the attack by a hair's breadth. That giant bird's claws were like Jin Gang Shi, slamming into the huge rock I'd just been lying on. The entire rock shattered into pieces on impact, debris flying everywhere. Seeing that, a cold shiver ran down my spine. Good thing I got out fast. Otherwise, that would have been me turned into paste. The big bird, seeing it missed, flapped its wings, soared back into the air, circled around, and swooped down fiercely again. What kind of freaky bird is this? It's acting like I owe it a fortune. Host has encountered a tier 2 demonic beast, golden winged rock. Quest triggered. Gift this demonic beast to Long Linger to claim a special reward. My eyes lit up instantly, but my face quickly fell into a grimace. The reward sounds great, but just the name of this bird screams natural predator of snakes. A head-on fight is suicide. Gotta use my head. After thinking for a moment, I quickly slithered towards an area with complex, thick vines. The golden winged rock let out an angry shriek, staying right on my tail. Then it went crazy, dive-bombing me repeatedly. I relied on my agility to dodge left and right, its claws scraping past my head several times, way too close. It was a narrow escape again and again. And so, our chase scene continued, snake versus bird, until we reached the edge of the vine-covered area. That's when the rock saw another opening, and launched a lethal dive at me. But this time I didn't dodge right away. Just as its bird face was about to smack into me, I made a sudden sharp turn, twisting my body violently. It couldn't break in time. Shot right past me, and because it was going too fast, plummeted headfirst into a thicket of ancient vines. Its wings got completely tangled up. It flapped and struggled but couldn't take off at all. Heh, stupid bird. Now you know what a crash landing feels like. I've been waiting for this moment. Without hesitation, I activated Dragon's Might. A terrifying pressure from my bloodline instantly filled the area. I slowly slithered towards it. It probably never dreamed that it, a proud tier 2 demonic beast, would get taken down in such a cheap trap. It thrashed wildly trying to break free, but the more it struggled, the tighter the vines wound around it. Finally, it was trussed up tight, completely unable to move. I opened my massive jaws and bit down on its neck. Congratulations, host. Successfully hunted tier 2 demonic beast, golden winged rock. Reward, 1 heart-protecting dragon scale. As the words faded, an ancient-looking dragon scale floated before me. The scale wasn't very large, but it was incredibly sturdy, and gave off a faint golden light. I thought about it, and decided to wrong hood into my vital spot. This was insurance against Long Linger, in case she ever tried something sneaky. After all, this girl dreams of revenge every day. With a mental command, the scale embedded itself into my body, becoming my ultimate life-saving trump card. I pulled the rock's corpse down from the vines, and then headed back the way I came with my prize. Along the way, I was looking around nervously, being super careful, terrified that more relatives of that rock might pop out to settle the score. Suddenly, an extremely dense wave of spiritual energy surged from not far away. Must be some heavenly treasure about to appear. Thinking that, I immediately changed direction, slithering towards the source. The further I went, the thicker the energy got, so thick it was almost syrupy. A few minutes later, a pool of emerald green lake appeared before me. Wisps of white mist rose from its surface, making it feel like a fairyland. Spiritual energy turning into liquid? That's the kind of setup you only see in sacred sect grounds. Holy crap, I've hit the jackpot. I was so excited I almost launched myself into the air. But before the excitement even faded, a terrifying, gut-wrenching aura suddenly descended. My heart skipped a beat. Like it was being gripped, it was a death warning coming from the depths of my soul. Instinctively, I turned to flee. But just as I started to escape, a terrifying waterspout erupted from the center of the lake, rushing towards me with an aura of pure destruction.